Justice, sitting down with somebody from Habitat for Humanity today. Katherine Hunt today is going to tell us a little bit about what they do at Habitat for Humanity, how we can get involved, what don't I know. So why don't you introduce yourself for me, tell me how long you've been working for Habitat, what you do, what you're in charge of.
Okay, hi, I'm Katherine Hunt. I'm the Program Support Coordinator over at Habitat for Humanity Windsor, Essex. And what I do is I mostly work with the volunteers, volunteer recruitment, volunteer engagement. I also help out at the builds and do some community outreach stuff.
Okay, so volunteer recruitment and what was the other part of it?
Volunteer engagement.
Oh, engagement. Okay, so you're engaging with me. I want to volunteer.
Okay.
And you're recruiting me how?
So we do a lot of different ways to recruit volunteers. We utilize social media and go out in the community. I find my best way to talk to a volunteer is to actually talk to them and get them to buy into the program through finding out what their interests are and relating it back to our program and how can they help.
Pretend I've never heard about Habitat for Humanity. Could you give me a description of what that organization does?
Sure. So Habitat for Humanity builds homes in the Windsor Essex community. As an organization, they build homes globally, but Habitat for Humanity Windsor Essex builds here in the community. And we build homes with families who would not be able to afford a traditional mortgage, so low-income families. And we work with the families very closely to make sure that they are breaking that cycle of poverty to break into a new life.
So if somebody can't afford a mortgage, they go through some form of application process?
Yeah, so applying to be a partner family or a future Habitat homeowner, as we like to call them, is a lengthy process. We definitely want to make sure that we are finding the best families for our organization. We don't want to just give a home away to anybody. They have to be very, very deserving of the home. So working with different groups of people and working with families to make sure they go through the application process as quickly as possible so that we can get them into a home as quickly as possible, but making sure that they are the most deserving family.
So there's elements of Habitat from what I understand. So tell me what I'm wrong on. It seems that, so you're building these homes, that requires a lot of money. You have to get mm-hmm. volunteer workers as well. Mm-hmm. You have to get donated building materials, and a lot of the donated building material excess you are selling at the Habitat for Humanity stores, which continues that process?
Close, very close. So you got the first part right. We do build our homes, and of course, building a home is a very expensive project. So we have to fundraise for some money. We get donor dollars from corporations, from the community, through other fundraising ventures. We have volunteers that come and build the home. We have corporate volunteers who come in and build the home as well. We work closely with experts, so skilled trades, to come in, and sometimes they donate their time and they do like our electrical and our plumbing and stuff that we can't have just regular volunteers doing. And then on the other side, so we are actually a social enterprise. So on the other side, we have our Restore. So that is taking in donations from the community of home renovation and home decor goods. And then those donations are sold to the community, back into the community, so we're recycling, and then at a fraction of what their retail cost would be. And then that money goes to supporting our administrative costs, so our operational costs, so our building and our staff and our marketing materials and all of that sort of stuff. That way, when somebody does donate money towards the build, we can say 100% of the dollar goes towards the build, and not like some of it needs to go towards marketing or fundraising or anything like that. 100% of your dollar goes towards the build because we have the Restore.
So so Restore is the store.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's funny is that's why part of these podcasts are cool, because I didn't even get that till you were talking. Like Chris says, I'm at Restore. I'm like, okay, sounds great. Sounds like a cool place. I didn't even connect it to Habitat for Humanity. So Restore is the recycle store for Habitat Humanity donations.
Yeah. The full name is the Habitat for Humanity Restore.
Okay, that's smart. Again, I've been there multiple times. Didn't really click into my brain, right? So that's kind of the point of this is, so you do these cool things, and you have this team of administration, and so that administration has to vet the potential new homeowners to be. They have to, I'm assuming, make sure that the right builders are on site and that you're sending volunteers with the right skills and licenses and et cetera, right? Your goal specifically, though, so when you're talking about recruiting engagement, recruit engagement, what does that mean? So how hard is the process for me to become a volunteer right now? So I want to go like Rambo, help and build houses and nail shingles on roofs. So how do I do that right now?
Okay, well, first of all, we would never let a volunteer on a roof. That is just endlessly dangerous.
That makes me sad.
But volunteering is a really simple process. You just go to our website, www.habitatwindsor.org. You fill out the volunteer application. You can also come into the store and fill out an application if you don't have computer access. But that application goes directly to my email, and I reach out to you and I say, hey, come in for an orientation. Orientation is about an hour and a half. You go through some paperwork, some liability stuff. You go through some health and safety stuff because we want to make sure that all of our volunteers are very safe on site, both in the restore and on the build site. And then after that, we do a quick reference check, just make sure you're a good person. And then we invite you to come onto our site. And all of the training is done on site. So if you need to learn how to do customer service, you get that at the store. If you need to learn how to do siding, you'll learn that at site.
So what restricts somebody from being a volunteer? You say good person? Good person, you're thinking like this person have to have a police check? What are the things?
No, we do not require a police check. It's about $55 in the city, and that's a lot of money for a volunteer to put out. So we just do a quick criminal check saying they just do more of like an honor system.
Okay.
So we trust people.
Okay, that's good. So that's why people like you have to be engaging with the recruits to make sure that they are the proper people that should be working, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's an ongoing, nonstop vetting process.
Yeah, so I go out every day into the restore and I talk to the volunteers and I see if they're happy, if they're engaged in what they're doing, if they like what they're doing. If they have any concerns or complaints, they can bring them to me and let me know. I don't feel safe doing this, which never happens because we're very safe. And then on site, we have an amazing contractor. His name is John, and he makes sure that everybody knows what they're doing and everybody is really safe. And so sometimes I'll go out there and make sure that everybody's having fun and is feeling like they're being useful and that they're really helping the community.
Where do you normally, because this is something you spend most of your time on, obviously.
All of my time.
All of your time, your whole life on. Where do you find recruits on average? Are they online? Are you going and setting up at events?
Yeah, so most of our volunteers do come through online applications because that's where we send them. They go to habitatwindsor.org and they fill out the application. But when I'm in the community, we do community fairs at the university, at the college. If an organization or group is doing a fair, we'll go to that. High schools. We put up flyers, we do social media, really heavy social media, because that's where a lot of people get their information from. So it's really everywhere, anywhere that will have us out there for me to talk about volunteering, we'll go to. Sometimes I go to seniors groups and do just little presentations, or newcomers to Windsor. They are often looking a way to get involved in their community because they're new and they want to make friends or build skills. So I'll do presentations there, just different places.
Okay, so I want to become a recruit. And I'll fill the paperwork out with you before we leave, or online before we leave, because that's how cool technology is.
Yeah.
I'll probably do it right now while I'm talking, actually.
You probably could.
Our friend yesterday, Kevin Blair owns Blair Construction. We were talking about maybe linking different projects together. So Habitat for Humanity, do they do ventures? So if somebody's a contractor, construction worker, friends that own these different businesses, how easy is it for them to get involved? Are they just saying, hey, listen, I have some time to volunteer? How does that work?
Yeah, super easy. You just have to email anybody at Habitat. You can email myself at Katherine at habitatwindsor.org, or you can email our director of operations, Pamela Bro. She runs our builds. And if you are a contractor, or if you have some sort of construction company or skilled trade that you want to donate to us, you just say, hey, I'd like to come out. On our last build, we had an amazing roofing company come out and they not only did they donate the supplies for a metal roof, but they also donated the labor to install the roof.
Please feel free to tell who that is.
AA Metal Roofing.
Wow, those are pretty nice people.
They are really good people.
That's a nice thing that they do, and there's friends of mine that do those things, right? So a lot of times people don't realize what portal. Honestly, people like me love to get involved in things. Like obviously that's how you are too. But if we don't know how exactly to get involved, it's hard to do so. Right now, what made you get involved with Habitat Humanity overall? So you didn't just apply to be a recruit, or you did apply to be a recruit and got recruited to a full-time position. What happened?
I actually have a degree in social justice, so my...
nice words, I like it. What a degree to have.
So my intentions for employment were always to work for not-for-profit, so I found that Habitat was this position was being announced, and I applied for it, and through charm and wit, they hired me.
Oh, charm. Charm goes a long way. So through charm and wit, they hired you because you're being creative in recruiting these people. So how has recruiting went up since you've been involved? Not to toot your own horn, I'm just asking.
No, I would say yes, but that's because our organization is growing. Habitat for Humanity Windsor Essex is an ever-growing organization. We have an amazing team in place that can allow us to keep moving forward. I mean, just last year, the Restore in Windsor hit $1 million in sales, and that is huge, not just for us, but for any Restore across Canada. So I think the program itself is growing with the organization.
So what are the keys to that growth? So is it more buildings to build more, all of it? Is it the combination of the entire thing that decides the growth level of Habitat?
I mean, it's really how far our staff are willing to go to put families in houses. I mean, we want to put families in homes. That's our whole goal, is to make sure that we can have the families of Windsor Essex feel home ownership. So it's really how far our staff and our team and our volunteers are willing to go to create that goal, to accomplish that goal. And there's no limits for us.
Is there no? Are you guys being really cool? And are we starting to have like solar panels on these roofs and?
Oh no, they're simple, decent, affordable housing.
Oh, we're not getting like super high tech yet. Hey, maybe there's a solar panel company that's listening to this right now that should donate a bunch of solar panels to Habitat for Humanity so that we can get all of those houses off the grid.
We're not going to say no.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, let's throw it out I'm just talking to the universe. Hey, solar company out there, come on this way.
Well, you can't actually get off the grid, but at the same time, you can make it an income source for those people.
Oh, you can get off the grid. Maybe not just with solar, sir. But with a combination of all the technology available, you absolutely can get off the grid, and do not give anybody that silly information you just did. With the combination of the available technologies right now, any house can get off the grid. It just costs you a certain amount of dollars that usually people don't have to invest. So it costs you a lot of money to save that money, and that's usually the hindering factor.
No, you can get off the grid. Of course you can, but it's illegal to do that. Technically,
it's pardon?
It's illegal to be off the grid because of certain safety regulations that they have put into place. Like, for example, now you have to have smoke detectors and CO detectors in newly built houses hardwired in versus just like a battery operating one.
I will save my N-word opinions for another podcast. But you're right, sure. And
which I find really annoying. I disagree with it completely. So
I'm with you. I'm just going to save it for a different battle. And I'm just saying that. Why don't we see that extra mile, right? If somebody's willing to donate wood or donate those things, why can't we get solar panels donated or cool waste heat technologies and things like that donated? People can go that extra level, extra mile. And the brilliant people that do think these things up, like why don't we go towards new building materials and different kinds of houses, right? There's a lot of things that I'm not criticizing anything of Habitat for Humanity. You guys are doing a great job. I'm just saying I like to push the envelope. So maybe we can... if anybody's listening and you can contribute to that, why not? Engage in it. Now, besides the people that are currently involved, how does Habitat for Humanity connect with their different, are they called satellites, organizations, or cities Like, is there like meetings or anything that you guys now go to learn what other cities are doing?
Yeah, they're affiliates. Each city gets their own affiliate. It doesn't get their own affiliate, but they can have their own affiliate. And we have regular monthly meetings. So all of the people in my position, we meet once a month on an e-conference and discuss different ideas and what everybody else is doing. We have safety and health meetings for every month for different stuff. And just yesterday, actually, we had the manager of the Restore in Kingston and the manager of the Restore in Peterborough come down to our operation and see what we were doing to see if they get some good ideas and share it around. And our regional Restore manager, Rick Young, he goes out sometimes and sees what other operations are doing. So we can share ideas and strengthen the Habitat for Humanity Canada as a whole.
Did you think when you were a little kid that you were going to be involved in something like this? Was that always the idea?
I thought I was going to be Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey. Hey, you still may be. You might be better than her. You're not sure. So don't count yourself out of the game just yet. But you went towards a social justice degree, so that must have been a conscious effort towards by your personality. When I just met you before the podcast, I can tell you always have some opinions about things.
I do.
So I was challenging you a little bit to bring that out of you. And so obviously this is a way probably for you to manifest that calling. But did you have a different idea in mind before Habitat?
I didn't have Habitat specifically. I knew that I wanted to help with a not-for-profit or an NGO, or just help in some way, because everybody has to have a job. Well, you don't have to have a job, but if you want to make money, you have to have a job.
Again with these certitudes. I can't handle these certitudes. No, you don't have to have a job, and you don't have to be completely on the grid, Chris. Okay, calm down. You can be an entrepreneur. You can get 99.9% off the grid. Just don't want to have any false information thrown out there in the words of justice, guys. Come on now. But for you, and the way that you choose to live,
I wanted a job.
You wanted the security of a job. Mm-hmm. Okay, continue, please. Sorry.
And I thought about just what kind of job I wanted to have, and I thought if I'm going to have a job, I should probably be helping somebody. I don't want to hurt somebody, and I don't want to hurt the environment.
So the MMA fighter thing wasn't like her assassin.
I'm just not
Navy
aggressive
SEAL.
enough.
You weren't going that route.
You don't want to see how many push-ups I can't do.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll put it on my blind side.
Well, you got the trainer right here.
Yeah, we can work on this. Trust me. After the show, we'll talk about doing some training. But obviously, you're a warrior. That part of being a warrior, by the way, I'm a social justice warrior. I'm a warrior. My company's called Just Warriors Inc. So you're a social justice warrior. I'm a warrior. So I do think that it's. We were talking a bit before the podcast. Like, you got to make sure you come from the right position. So the education as to what that is obviously helps you in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And just because I like to challenge a little bit on the podcast, so I always say what now to everybody. You have a good perspective, but always make sure to level yourself up, mm-hmm. so that perspective also levels up with the thing that you're already doing, because you're obviously operating at a very high level in the game of terms of, like, when you operate in these organizations, you're helping a global organization that's acting local. You're dealing with other head people of those situations. So yeah, I always personally joke about the fitness thing, but at the same time, it's like, that's why I joked about the Rambo building the houses thing. It was such an interesting thing that stuck in my mind when I was a kid, that I always wanted to build houses like Rambo. Why? Rambo's a soldier, and instead of being violent, he's up there. And the only reason I said roof, by the way, is because in the movie he's on a roof. When the general comes to talk to him, he's fixing a roof or building the roof or whatever it is. So it's like, why not the strongest people that I know? And now I'm challenging the people listening that I know are listening, my bodybuilder friends and fighter friends and all these super strong guys that pick things up and put them down. They do that all day, and they pick up heavy objects, but they don't. Okay, hey, Habitat for Humanity, do you have like a whole truckload of things that I can move? I need a morning workout. Hey, organization over here, do you need some 3 strong guys? Those organizations always need strong people. Those organizations always have something heavy to lift. I've never been around one of these organizations, but hey, Joss, would you mind? Of course, yeah. What heavy boxes are we lifting? I always get roped into that, right? So if anybody's listening that can challenge themselves, if you're already somebody who challenges yourself to so many things, if you could take 10% of your narcissism away and give that 10% to one of these organizations, or 10% of that workout where we run up hills for no reason, but for some reason we can't build houses for people who don't have them. That's literally my biggest challenge as a trainer. Is I'm one of the weird personal trainers where I don't say, like, the end goal is to look in the mirror at the most vain piece of perfection that you can create. That's not the end goal. The end goal is to create a human being that is engaging with other human beings at the pinnacle point of that engagement. Right? So I kind of like your job to a high degree. Maybe I have to talk to Ms. Fiona about maybe linking this idea, because these organizations. Would you guys do any team building exercises within the organization, like your administration staff?
Sometimes we go get drinks and wings.
That's definitely team building. I definitely believe in drinks and wings. The Hemingway method, as I was told by my friend the other day. So that's definitely a good brainstorming power. But anything that you engage with, like when you guys are building houses together, when I run my boot camps or my fitness classes, and I'll do something crazy like here's a huge rope and a 400-pound tire in the sand, and it takes literally 10 people to pull it, and you're all just teaming up on that. The psychological stresses that you go through in these things, and the ropes course is useful for that. There's lots of places to do similar things, and those kind of team building exercises to grow each individual on the team and to grow their ability to work as a team is important. So that's what, like, when I'm talking to different organizational leaders, I'm trying to say, okay, well, what can we as citizens or community members do better to help your organization grow? Because don't you feel that we as citizens kind of own organizations like Habitat for Humanity? It's for the people. The organization works for the people.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
We're the people, right? So when I say own, I don't mean like owner, like, see, that's weird capitalist society we live in. I don't mean own like you have ownership over it like a possession. I mean own like you own responsibility for it.
Yes.
Social justice concept, right? Mm-hmm. To say that like these institutions that dramatically help the people around you are owed a small amount of your energy. Now, some people can give money. Some people have strong backs. Some people have good hammers. Whatever you can lend to it. We have graphic designer friends that are listening to podcasts that, I'm sure Habitat always needs graphic design. I'm sure they always need social media boost. I'm sure they always need anybody with a creative idea towards maybe simplifying their processes or upgrading their application process. So my catalyst conversations that I have with this podcast is just to constantly challenge, with each topic that we bring on the podcast, challenge everybody's involvement in it. So can I challenge my own involvement and say, okay, what can I do for Habitat? Okay, now what can Habitat do better? But in order for them to do better, what people would have to be involved?
Everybody. I take a strong stance for volunteers that everybody that comes through our door has a talent. Everybody has some skill or some thing that they can offer to our organization. Whether they are good at graphic design, whether they are good at lifting couches, whether they are good at customer service, it doesn't matter. They just have to show us their talent, and then we can take that and say, hey, this is the part of our organization that we think that you would really fit in. And if we're wrong, they can say, hey, maybe not, but that part of the organization, I think I could really lend my talent to. So you're right. If you are good at construction, you can help on the build. If you are good at marketing, you can be part of our marketing team. If you're good at customer service, you can work in the restore. If you're just a really nice person, we'll have you out there talking to customers. Every volunteer has a talent. So even if you think, hey, maybe I'm not so good at, construction. Well, that's not all we have. We have opportunities for everybody.
So I have a cool tangent to go on, especially for my nerdy friends that are listening. When I had a PlayStation 1, I had a really cool game. And I had, remember the 4-disc games of PlayStation back in the day, guys, for you geeks out there? And it was really engaging. So I would engage in this game. It was called Suikoden. I'm probably not even pronouncing it right. Some cool Japanese game. And what happened was you were a general, and you defeated a dragon, and you took over a tower, and you would go around the world in this RPG, and you recruited different players. You had 300 different players you could recruit or something, so you had different options of who you didn't have to recruit each player. You could recruit different players. Now, when you recruited, let's say I recruited Chris Coulter into my castle, whatever he was naturally good at, he would do for the castle. So let's say he was good at graphic design. All of a sudden, all the signs were cool in the castle. I didn't have to say anything to it. It naturally happened to your castle. You didn't have to delegate anything. You just had to recruit that person, and that person did what they do. Just be you, bro. Right? That was our joke earlier. Right? So when I look at Habitat for Humanity, just like, in that game, you recruit somebody who knows how to build a storage place. Now he builds a storage place. It's good for everybody that's in that community. So if everybody looks like, in that simple nature, like this little game, the people that we recruit into our lives and the people that we recruit towards these organizations can lend their unique perspective. So my brain went towards, okay, Habitat needs team building exercises for the administration. I need to get involved with graphic design and social media help for their marketing department. I'm good at event coordination. What events are we doing for fundraising? Okay, cool. Who's emceeing these events? Who's telling the community about these things that in the agendas and initiatives? Okay, cool. So I'm going to go and talk to Fiona right away and say, okay, I would like to lend my hand towards this, and this. So again, part of the podcast is to inspire people to not just talk about things, but to move towards action and things. So I'm learning in this. We never met each other before this conversation.
Nope.
Right? So I'm literally learning with this conversation, and it should fire you up as you listen to somebody telling you, wow, we build homes for people that don't have them, and we need more help. That's the end of it. Okay, cool, I'm sold. That should be the end of your conversation. The fact that it isn't the end of your conversation with people is why we as people need help. Why we all need to change the way we think and change the way we live.
What do you feel is your, I guess, toughest demographic to hit with volunteering? So the ones that you don't have any of that type of volunteer, or where you're sort of lacking in an area. Where do you feel that is?
That's a good question. We have a really diverse group of volunteers, but I think it would be people that can that are able to do a lot of the physical aspects of it. Because, yeah, you're working in a restore that has couches and vanities and cabinets, and that has that experience and has the ability to move those things, but also has daytime hours that they can come in. I mean, most of those people are working at any job. So we get a lot of people who are retired, and those are amazing volunteers. We have some of the best volunteers, but lifting isn't their game.
Not for their back, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So you might have a 50-year-old man who's great at fixing things, but trying to throw that couch over his head is a little bit harder.
Yeah, but that's where we try to recruit high school co-ops. We try to get those young kids in that are looking for experience and who are looking for life skills. We offer life skills of leadership, initiative, show up on time. If you're not going to come, make sure you call in. Those kind of life skills we provide for them in their co-op, as well as customer service and retail. So that's where we try to fill that gap, is by recruiting those co-ops. So we definitely have a lapse in people that can maybe do the physical labor that is required.
Yeah, that was interesting, because my next question was going to be, what do you do to try to recruit those? So
Gotcha.
You jumped ahead of me there.
Well, we're going to help her recruit more. So even with this podcast, the people that are listening right now, I have a lot of strong people that honestly follow me and listen to what I say. And when it comes to this kind of thing, people like to admire my fitness and my strength, and they have no idea that I literally put in 30 to 40,000 paces every single day on the actual road, because I walk and I run everywhere. I lift couches, I lift freezers, I do things that are not just in the gym. In fact, my workouts in the gym are 10% of my training. The rest of it is like, I like to help other people lift heavy objects, and I mean metaphorical and literal, that they can't lift. And it's crazy the look of gratitude on an elderly person's face when you put in their couch that they've been waiting forever, and it's been, they literally just lacking one person to lift it up, put it in a truck, bring it to their house. That is the entire problem with the entire day. So how many people, I'm definitely going to go volunteer sometime. So if anybody's listening and want to volunteer some time with me, even inbox me and we'll get together and do this. Let's get some guys with trucks. Let's get some strong people. And why don't one day a week, 2-3 hours a day, 2-3 hours on a Sunday or a Saturday, 10 of us guys can go in and we can have a list of work to do and really revamp Habitat overnight. I like seeing when people take dramatic initiative, but it doesn't need to be 20 hours. It could be 2 hours with 10 people.
Yeah. We are closed on Sunday, so maybe not Sunday.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to open it up for this extra help. We're going to make it so Sunday's an extra day work. I'm just kidding. We're not going to go against religious policies or any other things. This is a waiver. No, you're right. Sure, whatever. We'll find the right thing. I'll do it on Saturday.
But it's definitely flexible. I mean, you can come anytime and donate as many hours as you want, or as few hours as you want. Such a flexible, it's not like we have to schedule you every week for the same time every week. You can come in on your own schedule and do your own thing. Everybody has something else going on in their lives. They have jobs, they have friends, they have family, they have other volunteer commitments, they have the gym. Volunteering is just one aspect of people's lives. So we don't expect it to be the whole aspect of their lives. So you just come in when you want, for how long you want, and you put in as much time and effort as you can, and then you go home. And you have fun while you're doing it.
Well, what's funny is maybe I'm thinking about organizing something because I took my boot camp down to the 10 Friends Diner and we did their community garden. So in one day, I did more work at that community garden than had been done ever because I had 20 or 30 people down there with, 4 guys on the saws. These guys are lifting boards. You 2 are screwing things in. Boom, boom, boom. We built these garden boxes. And I'm telling you, in one day, there has never been work done again on that community garden. And there never needed to be. Because in one day of 6 hours with 30 people, we built it as a community. It's the community garden. Yeah. So I love the projects you're doing. And I'm going to get involved maybe helping with those kind of initiatives. Because with a group of united people with the right day, when you have 3 or 4 guys, like my friend Kevin Blair, who has his tool van, they can just roll up with the tool van. You get 2, 3 strong guys. Okay, we got a truck. You can literally accomplish anything with a small team of people.
Yeah.
How often do you build these houses, by the way?
We build every year. This year we are building a house in Leamington starting in April and going through the summer. We are also doing a renovation. So one of our homeowners has decided to sell their home, and so we bought it back and we are renovating it so we can put another family in there and they can own that home. And then we will be starting a third build in Windsor in the fall that will continue through until 2019. So this year we're doing 3 homes.
So is the biggest limiting factor, like Chris said, the people to actually physically do the work? So if you had another entire building crew, would you be able to build another house?
That entirely depends on funding. If we can have as many people as we want to help out, that would be awesome. But it's just about finding land, finding money to support the build. So there's a lot of contributing factors. But I mean, if we could do 2 builds simultaneously, that would be awesome. It would take a lot of effort, but it would be amazing.
So we need somebody to fundraise the $50,000 that takes to build a home, $50,000 to $100,000 to build a home.
Something like that.
Well, you can't say, but I'm not going to try and speak for you either. So we need the money to actually build the home. We need the people to build it, and we need the interest in doing it, right? So if there's enough people listening, another 5 or 6 people could literally have another house built a year for another family off the street per year, or into a home that actually makes sense and is heated. And so that, if there's 5 people listening that want to donate some time, money, energy, please do that. And so where are they going to exactly? You said again, just say this again for the record. Where are they going to apply? How are they going to be a volunteer right now?
So they go to habitatwindsor.org and they fill out the volunteer application.
Okay. If not, they can go to the Restore, which is where?
3064 Devon Drive.
3064 Devon Drive. And if those ones don't work, you can look up me, Justice Forney, on Facebook or social media, or hit me up, however. I'm pretty easy to find. And let's do this together. I'll help you get the application, and we will go do these things together. So if you're sitting there and, to kind of end this podcast off, this person sitting in front of me is putting her heart into helping people that she never met. And if you're looking to get out of depression, the first thing that you should do is try to light somebody else's path. And it's funny how much light you find on that path. So if you can sit and wallow in your house all day, you should at least appreciate that you have a house. You might as well get up and volunteer your time to build somebody else a house. Meet some friends, do something that feels good, create an achievement, and have an impact. And I'm sure it feels very good when we were driving on the way here, you almost jumped out of your seat to tell me, that's a Habitat house. You freaked out like a little schoolgirl. It was hilarious. And that's the kind of excitement that I love to see in people. So thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing your excitement today. You kind of inspired me a little bit to get involved.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And we will speak again. And I think you're going to try my boot camp for sure. And I'm going to come and help you build some houses.
I mean, it's a trade-off.
Sounds good. All right. It's a joint venture, if you will. All right. Until next episode, guys, Words of Justice out.